Hi, welcome to episode 90 of the Passionate Spinner podcast. My name is Tracy. You can find me as Schnüffeltier on Ravelry and Instagram. There is a Ravelry group for the podcast. Please come over and join. And thank you so much for being here. I've been away again for a few weeks because I'm still sick. And it's kind of getting on my nerves. But I'm starting to feel better. It's going to be fine in a few weeks, I'm sure. I'm going to be back on top. So, what I'm wearing today is this beautiful sweater. It is the Lane Raglan by Hey Tune Patterns. I got this through Sprout Patterns. That's a partner for Spoonflower. And you can choose all of the fabrics that Spoonflower offers to go with an indie designed sewing pattern, and they print the actual pattern pieces. You just have to cut them out on the line and sew it together. And I decided to use these two fabrics, or these two patterns, to go together. And the colors are great. You know, they do go together, but it's a bit boom. But, I like it. I'm going to wear it. So, knitting in the past. I have two things finished. The first thing is the antler hat that I made for my husband. I knit this with Dutch Girl Yarns. That's my friend Erin. And he wears it all the time. It's a bit too big for me because, my head's a bit smaller, but it is great. It turned out wonderful. I did knit this with fingering weight yarn, and I held it double to get a worsted. And it worked wonderfully. What I also did, this is a free pattern by Tin Can Knits. The antler motif, you're supposed to do it 9 times, and I only did 7, I think. So, yeah, this is my first finished object. I gave this to my husband for Christmas, and he's been wearing it ever since. And the other thing is the big thing. It is my blanket. I knit this blanket with the Opal Advent calendar for last year, and I knit a square a day. And I fell behind on the second to last day because I got really sick. And then I decided that I would not touch any other knitting before I finished this one. So I finished it. I knit the last 2 squares 2 days after Christmas. And then I did weave in all the ends. I closed up the little holes that I got in the corners. And then I did an attached I-cord bind off thing. So here it is. It is 4 patches wide. The patches each are about 20 to 25 centimeters. So roughly 8 inches. And here it is. I'm just going to show it to you row by row. It turned out great. It really did. I'm happy that I did it. I'm very proud of myself for sticking to it and finishing it within the month. I had it washed and blocked before New Year's Eve. So it is quite the accomplishment, I think, to finish the whole blanket within a month. Now this is half of it. And I know it's not the most gigantic blanket, but for sitting in here on my chair like I'm doing right now, it's the perfect size. I'm covered, so it doesn't need to be bigger. And like I said, it's an accomplishment, I think. If you don't think so, fine. I do. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of knitting. I was very sick of this blanket by the end because I really wanted to knit other stuff, and I just couldn't because I knew that if I stopped working on it, I would never pick it up again and it would become a UFO. So yeah, that's what I did. For the I-cord, I used some white tweed yarn that I had in my stash. It was a leftover, small leftover skein, and it goes great with the rest, I think. So yes, it's finished. I knit this with a US 3, that's a 3.25 millimeter needle. I used the Buster pattern. That's a pattern that I wrote. Yeah, I did write it. I wrote it a few years ago. It's actually a baby blanket with an attached chevron border, but I just used the inner part for the pattern to knit my squares. I knit them to 44 stitches each side, and I attached all of them with a 3-needle bind off in the back. And I think I would do it like this again. Just going to show you one of the, here, there's the I-curve bind off, and you can't really see it. I think it's great. I would do it like that again. I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to do an Advent blanket again, but I like it. So this sits here, so I can use it whenever I want to. And then after this was finished, I fell in a little hole, because I always do when I finish something big. It's if it's a sweater or like this blanket thing, I just don't want to knit. I'm just like, all the energy is gone, and I need a few days to find a new project that I want to work on. But this time I finished the blanket, and I did fall in a little hole, but I crawled out of it quite quickly and started new stuff. So I have a few things to show to you. First off is a pair of socks for Tim. It is out of commercial yarn. It is Regia. It's the My First Regia. It is 25 grams skeins, and it's designed for baby socks. You know, like to put up. It's teeny tiny balls of yarn. And the thought behind it is actually quite good, because if you have a newborn or like a toddler, you don't need a lot of yarn. So you could get a pair of socks out of 25 grams easily for the first 2 years. I'm not sure if I can get a full pair of socks out of one skein for my gigantic baby's feet, but I have a second skein, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, I'm knitting these, my US2 Caspian double pointed needles, and here they are. I think this turns out really nice. It's striping a little bit. I started this yesterday with the new Adi Crazy Trio needles. They are, they belong to my friend Petra. She gave them to me to try out. She bought them, she tried them out, decided that it's not really for her, and brought them to Knit Club. And then my mom said, you know what, I really want to try these. I'm going to take them with me. She did. She knit like 3 rounds on her sock, decided, oh, nope. Brought them back the last Knit Club, and now I tried it. And I knit to about here with these. And then I decided, no, it's not for me. The problem for me is the needles themselves are good. You know, it's Adi needles. Adi needles are good needles. But if I can ever get them out of here, I can show you my problem. So you have 3 of these needles. Oh. Theoretically, you have 3 of those needles. Here they are. So you have these 3 needles. They look like this. They have one blunt tip. You can see here. There are 2 different tips. You have one blunt tip and one lace tip that's a bit pointier. The original idea is that you use the lace tip to knit off, and you have the blunt tip to knit off. I don't mind if it's super pointy or not. I don't like pointy needles anyways. So that is just, I would not knit the stitches off and then look at my needle and decide, okay, which is the pointy one? Okay, I have to use it this way. That's too much time. The main problem, you have half of your stitches on one needle, half of your stitches on the other needle, like this, and then you knit. And you basically use the idea of the DPNs, you know, just have one spare and knit onto that and just switch it all the way around. My problem is that the needle itself is too short for me. So when I am like knitting in the beginning, it goes okay. But then, you know, it kind of travels. And then I have the cord on the back of my hand on this bit and not a needle, and that makes it very uncomfortable for me. I'm not sure if you understand what I'm talking about, but you know, if I hold a DPN in my hand, I have wood touching my hand. And if I have these in my hand, I don't. And that is just, it makes me cramp up, and I just don't like it. And I don't have to. So, also, these are metal. I do not like metal needles at all because I'm such a tight knitter. When I use metal needles, it gets even tighter. And I don't like I don't like them. There we go. I don't like them. If you like them, great. I don't. I'm going to give them back to my friend, and she can use them for whatever she wants because it's there. It's hers. So yeah, if you want to give them a try, do so. Maybe you will love them. Also, they are very expensive, I think. If I get a set of DPNs, like these Knit Picks ones that I love, they're like 80 euros, maybe. These are 18, and that's a lot of money for something that I do not enjoy. So I would not buy these for myself. Good. That's that. Now, back to the things that I do enjoy. I started a crochet blanket. I don't like to crochet. I know how to do it, and I did it a lot in my youth. I did doilies and stuff, but I fell out of love with it, and now I started something with crochet. I am using this double pointed, double hooked crochet hook from Knit Picks or Knit Pro. I'm using a 5.5 millimeter needle. I have no idea what American hook size that is, but I'm doing a blanket for Tim. When I knit my opal blanket, I showed it to him and said, look, my blanket's almost done. And he said, great, Timmy blanket. And I said, no, it's Mom's blanket. He said, no, Timmy blanket. So he clearly needs his own blanket. And I decided to do a handspun one because why not? And I dug out all the leftover skeins that I had. And according to the thickest one that I had, I decided on the hook size, and I just held some other yarns that I had double to get it to be somewhat consistent. So here's what I have so far. I have put in all my leftovers, and I don't care if they are pink, if they have glitter, if they have beads. It's a blanket. Yes, he's a boy, but who cares? Really, I don't. So here we go. This is the blanket. I am using the granny stripe blanket that everyone uses by Lucy, I think, of Attic 24. And yeah, this is how far I am right now. The pattern is a free pattern on her blog. She tells you to cast on 200 stitches for the blanket that she did. I cast on 120, and it is quite big. And he's quite small, so this will work out wonderfully. And now I have some more skeins in my basket here. My beautiful, beautiful basket. I got this from my friend Sandra. She spun it up and she didn't love it, so it's gonna go in his blanket. And then I have these skeins from my stash. I have these two mini skeins that I did spin and ply on a spindle. And then I have some more art yarn trial skeins to use up, and these are some more leftovers. And then I'm gonna see how far I am, and if I'm not happy with the size of it, I'm just gonna select another skein of handspun from my stash. And also I have a box of leftover handspun coming in the mail from a beautiful, wonderful friend in England, and I'm gonna use all of that as well. So we'll see how big his blanket gets in the end, but I'm just gonna make it a normal size. You know, the width is like, I think it's about 120 centimeters, and I'm just gonna do maybe 150 meter and 50. Else we'll see. So that is the blanket. And then my two great things that I started. I mean, all of the things that I started are good, but this is the best. These two are the best. I started 2 sweaters for myself. One of them is the Avalanche by Heidi Kiermaier. It's a paid-for pattern on Ravelry, and I have it here. It looks like this. This is the sweater. Avalanche, Heidi Kiermaier. It's an Aran weight sweater, top-down raglan, super easy to knit. And just for comparison later, the pattern has 8 pages. Keep that in mind. It's going to come into play again. So, my Avalanche sweater. I'm knitting the Avalanche sweater out of a handspun combo spin that I did last year. And it looks like this. You can't really see anything. But here it is. This is the front with the pattern. Yeah, you can't really tell because of the lighting and everything, but I am on the raglan. I am doing the pattern. It's my handspun, and the handspun that I used was a perfect fit. That's my first skein. It's gotten kind of wonky, so I'm going to show you another one. So here it is. This is my handspun. I had this in my shop for quite a while now, and you know, it didn't sell, so I decided to use it up myself because I really love it. And I do get that getting a handspun sweater's worth might be a bit expensive, but it's worth it. So yeah, here you go. This is my sweater. It's turning out wonderfully. I am knitting this on, what is this? It's a, let me look. It's a 5.5mm needle, US 9. And these are my Dayak Crafts interchangeables. They are wood because I love wood. They've very nice and very long needle tips. And these are the best needles that I have. And I have had a lot of interchangeables. And I still do have a lot of interchangeables. I think I have 8 different sets because I wanted to try them, and I have them, and I use all of them. So I do have new ones. I bought Lucky needles, and I have not tried them yet, but I will. I will cast on a sweater with those. Maybe today? We'll see. So yeah, the Avalanche sweater by Heidi Kiermaier. And then the other sweater that I'm knitting is out of the Sabrina knitting magazine. It's a German knitting magazine. I showed it to you last time because there were quite a lot of sweaters in there that I enjoyed. And I decided to knit this one. So this is the sweater that I am working on. I have a little card in here because I did a gauge swatch because the yarn I am using is a bit thicker. So I'm using thicker needles, and I did a gauge swatch and did the math to find out which size to cast on because there are only 3 sizes. And then, yeah, it will work out. But remember 8 pages for the Avalanche? The pattern for this starts here with just the, you know, material list. And then this. That's it. That's the pattern for my sweater. And over here is a little chart and the line drawing. That's everything. So you have to think a lot with this, which is typical and normal for German knitting patterns. And I thought I totally lost my ability to work with these because, you know, I'm used to the super explain everything patterns that you get from an indie designer. And surprisingly, I'm doing very well. So I'm quite happy with that. So the yarn. It's another combo spin. The colors are not showing up at all. It's turquoise and purple and pink, and it's perfect. And I have started the front that looks like this so far. As you can see, the cable travels to the middle. It will meet at one point. And there's these. So this is the front so far. And I have a finished back. I can't really show you because I put all the stitches on one holder and it's just not big enough, but it looks like this. Oh yeah, I can show it to you. I have a picture up on my Instagram as well. And I think this will be a beautiful sweater. And you know what I really like about this? I am using my combo spin yarn, so no one will ever be able to knit this sweater with this yarn because it's a combo spin, you know? I use different fiber. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I did a video on this. Go check it out. So no one will be able to reproduce this yarn. And also, outside of Germany, no one will knit this sweater because you just can't understand the pattern. Because it's German, you know? You have to be able to speak German to knit this pattern. And so it's going to be a very unique thing. And I'm really, really happy about that. Weirdly happy. So yes, this is the back. The only problem I'm having, I'm a bit short on yarn. So what I will do, it's a raglan, as you can see. It's a raglan sleeve. The sleeves have this pattern in the raglan part. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to finish the front and then I'm going to provisionally cast on the stitches for the sleeve cap, knit the sleeve cap for both sleeves, seam those together, do the neckline, and then I'm going to knit the remainder of the sleeves from the top down with the remaining yarn and just stop whenever I run out. So I might have sleeves that go to the elbow, I might have full length sleeves, 3/4, I have no idea. But that's the only way I can do it. I cannot knit my sleeves from the bottom up because I'm afraid to run out. But yeah, it's gonna work out. I'm so happy with this. And I've been knitting like a mad woman on this. I started this sweater on New Year's Eve. And then I was not able to knit 2 days after that. So I knit about 4 days on this. I have a finished back and a started front. And it's just going to be so pretty and beautiful and wonderful. And also, this again is on my Diacrafts needles because I decided it's time to use those way more often because I just love them. They are wonderful needles. If you have a bit of cash over to spend for stuff and you want to really splurge on something, get Diacrafts needles. They are amazing. And no, they do not sponsor me because my podcast is way too small to get sponsored by anyone. So, you know, I love them. Go get them. That's it for my works in progress. Socks, the crochet blanket, and the 2 sweaters. And also what makes me really happy is that out of my 4 projects, 3 are hand spun. I really want to use way more hand spun this year because I have a lot of it, you know, like a lot. And I really want to use it because knitting with your hand spun is just so wonderful. Now, knitting in the future. I want to start a Flex Light by Tinka Knits out of Fernerwolle. It's an Austrian manufacturer and it's super soft. I showed it last time, 2 times ago. Yeah, I want to start that with the Lucky needles. And I also want to start the Shell Seeker by Heidi Kiermaier. I have had this pattern forever. I bought it right when it came out. It's another top-down raglan. It's striped. It has a pocket in the front. It's like a kangaroo pocket, and it's just a sweater. And I am going to make it into a dress because I want to use the Gomitolo yarn, I think is the name. These gigantic balls by Lana Grossa that I bought after a dentist visit. And I want to use those for this pattern. Change the striping sequence a bit up because I have double the amount of one color than I have of the other. And the original pattern is just, you know, equal stripes. So I have to change that a bit, but I can do that. I'm just gonna finish the original sweater length, knit the sleeves, and then continue on until I run out of yarn. I just, you know, keep adding stitches so my ass fits in. So that is what I want to do. And then I just want to work on some started projects. I want to finish my green cable sweater that I have not touched in months, but I really want to wear that for Edinburgh, so to get going. Now, that's it for knitting in the future. For spinning, I have spun quite a bit because I'm doing the spin 15 minutes a day challenge. because I really want to get back into spinning. So I spun and I finished 2 bobbins for this orange custom spin that I'm doing. I'm spinning this on my Luette S45. And I know that I could have packed more in this bobbin, but I didn't. I just didn't want to. I wanted to have a finished bobbin, so I decided it's full. So here they are. These are the 2 finished ones. I have 3 more that I have spun so far. So that makes 5 done. And I think I'm going to make 10 in the end. This is half of 1 braid. These are 200-gram braids. I have 2 full ones and this to go. So here we are. This color is actually quite accurate. It is a merino silk blend. It spins great. It really does. So I really want to finish this very soon and focus on another combo spin for me, because I'm knitting 2 sweaters out of my combo spins right now and they bring me so much joy. So I really want to make another one. That is all that I have for spinning. I'm working on this right now, and yeah, I want to finish it and then focus on my own things again. For new stuff, I have a few things. I got sent this pair of socks by a friend, and she knitted at a knitting retreat that I was supposed to go to that I couldn't because my dad had passed away. It was like I should have left on that day in the morning, and he passed away during the night. So of course I didn't go to the knitting retreat, but she did, and they brought some of the girls brought her leftover sock yarn, and she knit a pair of socks out of all the different people's yarns. And she sent it to me because she said she put so much fun and love into these that she thought I might need them more than she did. So she sent them to me, and I'm going to put them on my feet right after I finish this podcast. But I wanted to show them to you because they are beautiful. So that's the first thing that I received in the mail. And then I didn't really get, I did get one thing in the mail. I am in the Ushitita Yarn Club for the winter. So if you are as well and you have not received your December skeins, please go look somewhere else for the next minute. I received my skeins. It's you always get 2 skeins. And these are the last 2 for December. And they are beautiful. I have my 2 November skeins. Now I have the 2 December skeins, and I'm gonna get the January ones. And then this club will be over. I'm not going to join again. Not because I don't love it, because I absolutely do. But I don't want to spend a lot of money on yarn online this year. Gonna talk about that later. But yeah, so here we go. These are my 2 Ushitita Yarn Club skeins. And also she had a custom order thing up a few weeks ago, and I splurged on that one. I got a lot. I'm gonna show it when it arrives, but it was still last year, so you know it does not interfere with my goal for this year. And this is really nice and soft. It's an 80-20. No, it's 75-25 superwash merino and nylon, and it's just gorgeous. Both of these. So I decided to keep them and wait for the last 2 and maybe do a sweater out of them if I can combine them in a way I like. And also my custom order contains quite a few skeins of normal sock yarn, so I can just look and maybe do like a faded sweater out of some and use the rest for socks and shawls and stuff, because it's so nice. I can totally wear this around my neck. So this is what I bought online. And then I have a full bag of stuff that I have bought from my 2 dyeing friends. Not dyeing, like hand dyeing yarn friends. I asked my friend Sandra to dye yarn to go with the skein of handspun that I showed last time. And she did. She dyed up 3 skeins of gray with black speckles to go with this. And I think this is the perfect match. I am going to knit a sweater out of this. I have no idea which. If you have an idea for a sweater that needs 3 skeins of one color and 1 skein of the other, please let me know, because I'm thinking about doing the Polly by Isabel Crema, but I don't want to do a shawl color, so I would just change that. So that's a possibility. Yeah, so this is what I got. She has a new label that I'm going to show to you, so you can go and find her shop. It's Kunte Bunte Wolle, and there is her shop address. Go check her out. I also have 2 other skeins that I got from her, and here they are. Not sure yet what to do with them, but I will find something because I love them. I think they are really beautiful and also very soft. So yeah, and look at those speckles in here. It's just gorgeous. And then from my friend Barbara, I got 2 skeins of hand-dyed fiber. Her shop is Almrausch Wolle. I'm going to link both of them in the Ravelry group. So here's the first one. This is it's either superwash merino or superwash merino nylon blend. I don't know for sure, but it is superwash either way. So this will be socks in the future. And that's the other one. It's a bit more. And here. So I am going to spin for some socks. Because, you know, we all know how much I enjoy spinning thin. But I will spin those into sock yarn because this will be just beautiful socks. And then I have one more thing to show that I kind of forgot to show last time. It's more yarn from my friend Sandra that she dyed specifically as a custom order. Because, you know, I don't have enough yarn already, so I have to ask for more. And it is a sweater's worth. It's 5 skeins of a merino cashmere blend, fingering weight, for a beautiful sweater that I want to make. Not sure yet which one, but this is what the yarn looks like. It's browns, oranges, yellows, and a bit of burgundy reds, maroon. It's my colors, you know, it's just my colors. And I have 5 skeins of this. And oh God, this is so soft. You know, 20% cashmere. It's beautiful. So yeah, here we go. Like I said, I have 5 skeins of this and I have no idea what to do with it. But it will be a sweater, for sure. Because it's so soft. So yeah, that is all for new stuff. And that was a lot for new stuff. Now for reading, listening, watching. I finished 2 books already this year. I'm so happy. I'm finally back into a reading habit and it makes me so happy. So the first book that I finished is How to Be Champion by Sarah Millican. Sarah Millican is a stand-up comedian. She's English, British, and it's an autobiography of her life so far, you know, because that's what an autobiography is. And it is very funny. It's very reassuring because she's a famous person, you know, and people love her. And she's just as insecure as everyone else. And that is kind of helping me be okay with who I am a bit more. So if you want to read something that makes you laugh out loud and reassures you that you're just fine the way you are, you should read this book. I can highly recommend it. So I finished this 2 days ago. And then yesterday I finished another book that I had started quite a long time ago. And I hope that this thing worked the way I wanted it. Yes! It's this book. It's called So Not a Hero. It's a Kindle book, as you can see. It's a book about a supervillain turned superhero trying to help put away other supervillains. I think that's a good good way to say it. The main character is a woman, and yeah, it's a fun book. You know, it's not super duper literate. Is that a word? It's not, you know, it's not Shakespeare, but it's fun. It's a fun read. So if you're looking for a fun read with a bit of action and a bit of sexy times, read this book. If you don't like sexy times in books, do not read this book. I mean, they're not you know, going at each other all the time, but there are some sequences in there that are quite graphic. So I'm not a fan of that, to be honest. You know, I much prefer a sentence that says, and then sexy time presumed, and that's it. That would be enough for me, you know. I do have imagination. I don't need to read every single thing. So that's it for my reading. I'm now in the state of deciding if I want to finish something else, because I have some more started books, or if I want to start something completely new. I'm not sure yet, but I will find out before tonight, because I'm gonna read again tonight. I want to go back to a habit that I had before I had my son. It was every night I would read at least half an hour before I went to sleep. So I'm going back to doing that. And now for watching. Oh no, wait, there's listening. I am still listening to Origin by Dan Brown. It's the newest book in the Robert Langdon series. I'm not quite halfway through. And so far, it's, you know, quite the same story as in the other 4 books that came before it. So I'm not expecting anything super new. He stumbles into a murder. He is accompanied by a beautiful young woman. He's on the run from not the police this time, it's the Spanish, the Leibgarde, you know, the people who take care that no one kills the royals, and the church is involved, of course. I'm not sure yet which artist comes into play, because that is kind of not there yet, but I'm sure it will come. Now, for watching. I'm watching Teen Wolf because I got the whole series in 2 of these boxes from my husband for Christmas, because I wanted them. I said to him, for this year I have one wish. I want the complete series of Teen Wolf on DVD. And he got it for me because he's amazing. So this is the first box. It's seasons 1, 2, and 3. They're in here. I'm watching season 3B right now, which is the best, I think. Season 3, amazing. And I really like these boxes, I have to say. It's the first time I have a box like this, but it just opens up and then you can flip through like in a book. I haven't had that before. I am enjoying it. So yeah, I have 2 of these boxes, and yeah, it's Teen Wolf. I mean, you've heard me talk about Teen Wolf on every show almost, so we know how much I love Teen Wolf. Okay, for sewing, I haven't really sewn anything. You know, I have been knitting a lot lately, and I realized that I am knitting a lot lately because I haven't done any sewing. So I want to change that a bit. I want to go back into sewing. I want to knit a little less, and, you know, produce clothes with my sewing machine again. So what I did, I cut some skirts, because I have made 3 Hollyburn skirts so far, and I find myself reaching for them all the time. I love wearing them. This is the pattern. What I did for mine, I found version C to be a bit short, but version A is a bit too long for me. So what I did is I needed to cut a size 14, which is the second to largest size. I wear the second to largest size of this pattern. So if you are a plus size girl, keep that in mind. This does not go up super far. So I'm wearing this, and in a size 14. What I did for length, I chose A with a longer skirt, but I cut the length for size 2 instead of my size 14, and that was about that much of a difference. And that worked wonderfully. And it's longer than version C would have been in my size. So, you know, it did make sense in the end. And like I said, I cut a few of those because I love the ones I have. I have the black and gray plaid one that I made for my dad's funeral. And I also wore this recently to a wedding in winter because it was freezing cold out. And I wanted to give this skirt a happy occasion, you know, so it wouldn't become the skirt I made for the funeral. Does that make sense? Because I really want to wear it a lot, and I didn't want to have the negativity and sadness attached to it. Then I made another black one with all the colors in it that goes with everything out of quilting weight cotton. And then I made a green version out of some fabric that I got on eBay, and I have no idea what it is. And now I have cut 5 more. I cut this one. This fabric I got last year at the local fabric fair. I paid €2 for this piece, and I have enough left to make 2 or 3 project bags. And I have cut the whole skirt. There's this, oh yeah, okay, there's not a problem. There's something stuck on there that I can scrape off. And that is the first version. And this fabric is quite stiff. And, you know, version 1. Version 2, this is a very soft fabric. And it has these embroidered roses in dark red and a dark green on it. I had a bit of a challenge getting all my pattern pieces cut. The important thing is when you have your fabric that is only 1.10 meters wide, if it's non-directional, it's okay, because now, do I have a piece of paper? Of course not. I'm going to use this. So let's say this is your fabric, and you normally would fold it, salvage to salvage, put on your pattern pieces. They don't fit width-wise if you fold it like that. So you have to fold it the other way and put them one up, one down, and then it works. But only if your pattern is not directional. If it has a clear direction, that doesn't work. And you need a lot of fabric to put them on, you know. I hope this made sense. So for this, it did work. It worked wonderfully for all of them. Thank goodness. So version 2. Version 3 is this fabric that my husband bought in India. I have no idea what it is. It feels like it's some kind of polyester, silk, cotton blend. I have no idea. I do not know. But it looks great, and I think it will be a nice skirt. It definitely will need a slip because it's going to catch on everything underneath. So what I am going to do is I'm going to make 2 slip skirts, underskirts. I'm not sure is it a slip? Is it called a slip if it's not a dress? I need 2 of those underskirts, and I'm going to make one in a light gray and one in a dark gray because they can go with everything. And I'm going to just do a simple A-line skirt with an elasticated waist that I can wear under every skirt and every dress. So yeah. Now version 4 is this fabric. My mother-in-law bought this when she was in South Africa for vacation. And I think this is going to be beautiful. It's also quite stiff, but very thin. So yeah. And the last version is the only one that I can't show you the right side. Yeah, well, here we go. Is this one, and it's denim with white polka dots. So I have cut these 5 Hollyburn skirts. All of them are very different. And I have 3 more fabrics selected to make 3 more, or 2. I think it's 2. Because I have 3 finished ones, and I have I got 7 fabrics out for this skirt, because I thought, you know, I'd have 10 of them, because why not? I love wearing them. I love the style. I love the shape. It fits perfectly. It has nice big pockets. It's super easy and super quick to make, and it looks amazing. So why shouldn't I have 10 of those? No reason, right? So there we go. Hollyburn skirts. I want to start making them this week, and you know, I'm going to make them very soon because they are really easy and quick to do. So that's it for sewing. I have a few things for everything else. I got contacted by the person behind the Wild Onion group on Ravelry, And she asked me if I was interested in sharing a swap together, you know, do a swap together based on the combo spin video that I did, but on a smaller scale, you know, not for a sweater's worth, but like 8 ounces. So the idea is you get 8 ounces of fiber, you break it up into pieces, and you send it to one person, and she will receive all of the fiber, mix it up, and send you back a mixed fiber for a combo spin. The information for everything, you know, because I'm doing a bad job at this. The information, everything you need to know is in the Ravelry group for this podcast. There is a thread for the Wild Onion shared swap. Go in, check it out, look at it, and if you want to sign up for it, they are the deadline is in January. So go check it out if you want to. I am still thinking about if I want to join, because I think I don't have 8 ounces from one fiber. And I really don't want to buy stuff because I have so much stuff. So go and check it out. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about is my goals for 2018. I always do goals and I never reach them. But you know, a girl can try. So what I want to do this year, I want to do the spin 15 a day challenge. And I didn't spin in the first 2 days. And I didn't spin in a day in between. But I spun, it's the 8th of January today, and I spun on at least 4 days. So that's a good thing. And I'm not going to beat myself up for, oh, I didn't spin today. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. So what? But I want to try and spin more because I enjoy it and I love using handspun yarn. The other thing, I want to read every day. I just want to read more. I miss reading very much because I knit a lot and I spin a lot and I sew. And you know, my day has only 24 hours. So I just couldn't fit my reading in. And now I just want to change that. I have this beautiful notepad thing, no, you can't see, that will hold my book for me, and I can knit a pair of socks or a garter stitch scarf or whatever. You know, easy things that I can work on while reading. And that's one goal. And the last goal is I want to use up my stash. Well, not use up all of it because that's not going to happen. What I want to do is I have a lot of stuff, you know, and I really enjoy being able to go into my stash and find a pattern and yarn and work with it. So what I decided to do for this year is I am going to restrict my buying by only buying things that I can touch when I buy them. So that means no internet shopping for me for this year. And I know that means that I won't buy a lot from indie dyers, but I just really have a lot of stuff. I really do. And it doesn't mean that I won't buy anything because, you know, I have 6 dentist appointments coming up. So I'm going to buy stuff after those because my yarn shop is straight across the street from the dentist. It's going to happen. I am also going to the Edinburgh Yarn Fest where I will definitely buy stuff. There is the upcoming fabric fair here, like it's 20 kilometers from my home, where I will go to and buy stuff. I want to go to a yarn festival in April that's happening here in Germany for the first time. I'm going to go to Woolin in Dublin in May. I'm going to take a class with Justina Larkowska and I'm going to buy yarn there. You know, it's not like I'm not gonna buy stuff. I will buy stuff, but only if I am there in person. That's what I want to do for this year. We'll see how it works out, but I'm gonna try because I have so much stuff. So that is the end of today's show. I have talked about everything that I wanted to talk about. I hope I will be able to record next week. And I want to get back to shorter episodes because this is almost 50 minutes already. And that's just not what I wanted with this podcast. I wanted to do half-hour things, talk about the important stuff, not talk about everything else, and just, you know, focus on crafting. And yeah, I'm going to get back to that. I think that's it. I wish you all a wonderful, happy 2018. Stay healthy, stay safe, be a good person. And I think that's it. I hope you all have a wonderful week. I will talk to you hopefully again next week. Until then, enjoy everything you do. Bye.